Geert Wilders is the leader of the Freedom Party in the Netherlands, a political group described as Islamophobic. The party performed well in the recent European elections. Wilders' anti-Islamic and anti-EU rhetoric seems to win over more and more Dutch people, mostly those who are scared about immigration and enlargement. Euronews interviewed Wilders in a bunker-like meeting room of the Dutch Parliament in The Hague. That was said to be for security reasons, because Wilders has been granted special protection. This due to his controversial anti-Quran movie and provocative anti-Islamic speeches.
Geert Wilders, welcome to Euronews. Are you concerned for the future of Europe?
I'm very concerned of the future of Europe. I believe Europe is a beautiful continent with strong countries, but unfortunately because of the influx of the mass immigration and the Islamization of our societies, I'm afraid that at the end of the day it will cost us our freedom. So indeed, yes, I'm very concerned.
Why do you think that Islam is a threat to Europe? What is worrying you for this?
Well, let me first say that I make a distinction between the ideology, the religion, Islam, and the people. I have nothing against Muslims. I have nothing against people. I have a problem with the Islamic ideology. I believe it's a totalitarian ideology, that it should not be compared so much with other religions, but with other totalitarian ideologies like communism or fascism. And there is no room in the Islamic ideology for anything else but Islam, and this is what I think that we should really fear.
Don't you think that to say that Islam is a totalitarian ideology is dangerous from a philosophical, intellectual point of view? Because we see that Iran, for instance, is fighting for more democracy, and they are Muslim.
No, once again, people, I have nothing against people, and there are, and I acknowledge that there are moderate people who call themselves Muslims, so there are moderate Muslims. But we should invest in moderate Muslims. But I don't believe in a moderate Islam. I don't think that like Christianity and Old Testament and the New Testament, a separation of church and state and an enlightenment in the last centuries, that this will ever happen to the Islam. So I think we should not invest or believe in the European or moderate Islam. But of course, we should invest in people and we should invest in democracy.
How should you separate the concept of Islam as a whole, which you say is a totalitarian ideology, a religion, and the single Muslim that you say it could also be a moderate?
I admit that the majority of the Muslims in our Western society today are not extremists, and they are not terrorists. They are normal people like you and me, and I believe that there's nothing wrong with that. But I also believe that even though the majority of those Muslims in the Western societies today are not extremists or terrorists, that if we would get more of the mass immigration, we get also more of the Islamic culture and the Islamic identity and the Islamic ideology in our societies, and then our societies will change. We will have what we are witnessing in the United Kingdom today, 85 Sharia courts functioning, where a woman is less worth than a man, where homosexuals should be killed. I mean, this kind of anti-democratic law, which is Sharia, is part of the Islamic ideology, is exactly what is happening in Europe today.
You said once that the Muslim people who want in Europe to implement Sharia must leave Europe. Do you agree? Do you still agree with this statement?
I think Sharia, the implementation of Sharia, is the end of the democracy. If you believe in Sharia, you believe that apostates, that everybody who is not a Christian should either be a demitude and should be living under the rule of Muslims, or either should be killed. The same goes for women or homosexuals. They will have a terrible way of life in a society where Sharia is implemented. So I really do believe that if you are in a country and you are in favor of the implementation of Sharia, that there is very little for you to do. It means that you believe that women are worth less, half of even more or less than men.
Sorry, but
no, the Sharia law is very clear.
The UK Islamic court are not hanging homosexuals.
No, but they are having a law based on the Quran. And if we start acting like you are suggesting now, if we start saying that, hey, it's only about private law and it's not real about the penal code, so please let us allow this only part of Sharia in our societies, I will tell you that there will be a next step and there will be another step. So I think that we should say no Sharia in our Western, free European and other societies, because if we allow step A, how innocent it might look, and I believe it's not innocent at all, that there will be a next step and another step, and the political elite in the European societies will allow it for political correct reasons, because they are cultural relativists. They believe that all cultures are equal. Gordon Brown, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is the biggest coward of Europe. When he sent me away when I wanted to enter the United Kingdom just to show a movie and to have a discussion in the House of Lords. This is the kind of leaders that we have in Europe today, and they should be removed and replaced by more brave leaders.
Public order at home also for the British.
Only in the United Kingdom. He decided, not because there was any threat, because it was not. Like I said, I visited many countries for the same reason. I was welcomed in a very positive way. But the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom was afraid that somebody came and spoke against his views, said something nasty according to him about Islam, and he feared that there was pressure from Islamic people from the House of Lords, so he gave in. He gave up. He played again the Chamberlain of Europe of 2009.
You are against Turkey joining the European Union.
For sure.
Many federalists are against Turkey joining the European Union because they say that it will dilute the European Union. The idea of federal Europe will disappear. So you should be in favor of Turkey joining the European Union.
I'm against a federal Europe. I want us to stay independent and Holland and only cooperate in the economic framework. And I'm against the joining of Turkey. I have nothing against Turkey. It's a very respected ally within NATO. And a good friend of the Dutch people, but I believe it's not a member of the family. A good neighbor is not the same as being a member of the family, and it's an Islamic country. We will not only pay a very high price when it comes to all the cost, all the money that we'll have to pay to Turkey, but it's an Islamic country, and we will get even more immigration to our societies, which is the last thing that we should need.
Should you open the door to Ukraine, for instance?
No, I think that no other country should join Europe. I'm even in favor of Romania and Bulgaria to leave the European Union. My party voted against the ratification treaty in the Dutch parliament for the accession of Romania and Bulgaria. We think
Why?
that, because first, the Dutch people believe that Europe is large enough. They are against any more countries joining, and I share their view. We should have a smaller Europe with more little tasks than an enlargement Europe with even more influence, so we are against that. And secondly, I believe that those countries were not ready at all, were very unready and very corrupt as well.